Simmons Production.
It's your boy Simmons. Alright, it's your boy Simmons.
It's your boy Dang.
And it's Don't Shoot the Messenger podcast.
Bang, 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 bang.
Blah!
Hey,
This is a special episode.
real special epispisode.
As you can see, there's three of us.
Three.
Uno, dos, tres, y tanto.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we actually got a guest, somebody we went to school with, and actually my boy Dan reconnected with him. I'll let you do the reintroducing or you introduce him.
Introduce him. Well, hey, this is my partner right here, my boy Nate.
Mm-hmm.
Go all the way back to Rialto High School. So you guys know that in other episodes, me and Simmons always talk about our connection from Rialto High School, how we had classes together, how after high school you go your different ways and you live your life, but that energy always seems to bring like-minded people back together, right?
If you vibrating the same,
it's the same vibration, right?
Mm-hmm.
So over the years, you run back into people, and Nate was one of the people that I ran back into on 2 occasions. And after the second occasion, we done down there being in each other's life for a minute. We even hooped on the same basketball team. We was out there, you know what I mean? It's just the energies is real. And this is another brother that I have a lot of admiration for. I've seen him go through his ups and his downs. I've seen him express his feelings about things. It's a brother that he gonna tell you how he feel. His yes is his yes, his no is his no. And that was something that I've always admired about him, right? And the road and the path that he's on. So I'm all about evolving, right? I try to get people to read and evolve and push themselves to be the best person that they can be.
Yeah.
Right? And this is a brother that I've been paying attention to the last year. Right, and he keep his head down. He make his moves. He don't show people all his moves. And then he came out with a business like boom, pow. And then he started posting his work ethic, the stuff that he was doing and everything. And I'm trying to tell y'all, he's top tier in the game.
Okay.
No, I appreciate that.
You understand what I'm saying?
I do. That means a lot coming from
It's
somebody
genuine.
that means a lot coming from somebody who paid attention. You been watching that long?
I've been watching that long. I'm trying to tell. Listen, it's funny, right? So the reason why I pay attention is because I feel like a lot of people who do good don't get the credit that they deserve.
Facts.
That's true.
You understand what I'm saying?
Very true.
So I like the same thing with my boy Simmons. This brother has consistently kept a positive energy. You understand what I'm saying? That's not common. That's not common.
It's not easy.
You understand what I'm saying?
It's not easy.
Sometimes I'm gonna spaz out, just let people.
Right.
But I don't let that,
Yeah.
But the thing is, people, you need that in society. You need that in the world. So, like I said, I pay attention to my people because I'm like, when they doing good, somebody needs to tell them like, "Hey, you doing good." Because it's too many times that I've seen brothers actually doing well, and the circle that they in just nod their head
It doesn't coincide with the energy that they're going with.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
A lot of times they say, the company you keep, you're similar, birds of a feather, flock together.
Facts.
But in a lot of ways, I mean, you kind of create what you're comfortable with, right? And a lot of it is based on necessity. You may not have that love at home, or you may not have that family, or whatever the scenario is, but you still got these friends.
Yes.
Because of the person that you are, you know what I mean, you love them the same.
Yeah.
And you take, what they give.
Yeah.
Because that's what
Yes.
you know what you know.
Yeah.
You can trust that they're gonna be those people all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
And
saying?
even with that, like, just the fact, like, so say, like, y'all wasn't particularly rocking with each other at first, whatever, but the fact that you acknowledge and you seen them, like, a lot of times people feel like you can't give somebody they just do, they props, they flowers, or whatever the case may be. Everybody think everything is a competition. It's not a competition, bro. And that's what be having us fucked up out here, because everybody want to think everything's a competition. Oh, he got something I don't got. So then you got that mindset where I need to rob this nigga.
Yeah.
Like it's just
well,
stupid,
and that's
you know what I'm
and that's the
saying?
thing. I've seen so much, especially coming from like the environments that we come from. Each person has a different path that they go on, right? But not everybody is focused on the path that they're on.
Mhm.
They're looking at each and every other person, right?
Minding other people's
minding
business.
other people's business, and then that's where like jealousy and envies, and then all the other little BS comes in,
Yeah.
right? And I try to, I believe in projecting my energy, right? And I want my energy to project, but I want it to project in a good light, right? But the only way your energy can project in a good light is when you upbring others, when you bring up others. You understand what I'm saying? So when I see you doing what you're doing, you don't even understand. Like, I didn't even want to put the business out there because last time, but I started my own business. You understand what I'm saying? I'm paying attention to y'all, how y'all move and all of that stuff. I got my logo, I got my cards, I got my website, all of that, working on all of that. Because I said to myself, look at these brothers that I'm around, right? Iron sharpens iron.
Facts.
They jumped off the ledge,
Mhm.
right? You have a skill set. You have a skill set. You have a talent. You have an eye for things, right? I went to school, and I have a skill set and an understanding that a lot of people don't have,
Facts.
right?
Yeah.
And instead of giving it away freely, I can make some conversation off of it. I put
Absolutely.
enough time
Hey,
in,
me.
right? So I'm
Hey,
looking at you guys, and like I'm saying, I'm looking at you guys, and it's motivating me.
Yeah.
So that's why when I look at what y'all doing and how y'all moving, I said, man. And then he hit me like, hey, I got to get on the next episode. But he didn't even know when he said that. I said, this is the type of brother that I've been trying to highlight.
And the sick part about it is like we say, that the energy, the universe works in crazy ways, because I really said that as a joke.
Yeah.
Throw me on the next one.
Yeah.
You know, but in reality, you already had a seed planted in your head of exactly the route that you wanted to go.
Yeah.
You know, with having
Facts.
somebody like me or saying,
And this is gonna be a couple people who want my fade after this episode.
Debbie,
and these is the homies.
Debbie,
These the homies. You know what I'm saying? They gonna say how you put Nate on the show before me. I've been asking for years.
You be alright.
You gonna be alright.
What you gonna talk about something?
But
else.
that's the thing that I want to explain, man. I didn't bring your name up to be on the episode because the last person we had on the episode was Patrice.
Yeah.
And she was a
therapist. Not therapist, but therapist.
Yeah, she's a therapist.
Yeah. It was
Mental
about mental health.
mental health therapist.
Okay.
And she has a doctorate degree, so she's certified in her stuff, and she put us on game and all of that stuff. So when a person comes on, it's because I believe that there's substance.
Exactly.
We believe that these people have substance.
You got something to offer, something to talk about. That's gonna, because our whole thing is like, I've been saying like, we in our 30s now.
Yeah.
I don't know how old you are.
I'm 32.
Okay, so it's like we in our 30s now. Like we got to understand that, especially growing up where we came from and being young black individuals or whatnot. Like we the new big homies now.
Facts.
Like there's a lot of times like where if you pay attention in the streets, like the big homies will hype like the little homie up to do some bullshit and they be fucked up in the game.
Yeah.
And it's just like, damn, like I should never listen with this nigga. Like now they locked up and like they trying to figure out, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like it's up to people like us to be leaders.
Yeah.
We don't have to try to change the world, but change who you can reach and who you can touch. And that's how the game start, the change start.
Yeah.
Right.
Like when you try to do the whole mass change, it's like that's a big. It's hard, but change who you can or touch who you can.
And what you're saying is 100% the truth, right? And the beautiful thing about that, and we're gonna get into it in more detail, is the background and the stories.
Yeah.
That got everyone to where they are today.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
We can get into it.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get into it. So what I want you to do right now, right? Because we can chop this up so that you can get promo for yourself, for your people, and all that. Introduce your business. Introduce. Just tell us your story on how you got to this point.
Well, I'll start off by introducing myself. My name is Nate Lindsay, Rialto, California. Initially, started my business. It initially started off as me getting into a trade because I was kicking up dust in the streets.
Okay.
And I'll be completely 1,000 with you. I was full-fledged in the streets. You know.
Yeah.
You know where
I ain't gonna tell no story.
Where I put my mark.
I ain't gonna tell no stories,
You know what I mean?
but we done been out here in a situation.
You know, ultimately, my whole persona and my whole drive for anything that I've ever done in life, it came from lack thereof. Now that could be many things, right? I had lack thereof. You know, my parents. You know, my mother, she wasn't around ever. My mother left at 4. You know what I mean? My dad, you know, he was addicted to drugs, like heavy, and you know, eventually, you know, he succumbed to all of that through cirrhosis. You know, went to sleep one day, didn't wake up. I was 13. You know what I mean? I hadn't learned anything. All I knew was what I knew, and I didn't know nothing else.
Right.
You know what I mean? And typically, when you don't have male role models around, you gravitate towards whatever is in immediate vicinity of you.
And not to cut you off, we said that on the episode. I don't remember the number. I used to tell people all the time, because this is my influence, right? So my pops was, most people don't know, but my pops was the Rialto wide receiver coach.
Oh, wow.
When I was there.
Really?
Right. Nobody, people don't know.
No.
Coach Armstrong, that was my pops.
Shut up.
Yes.
No.
Yes. People don't know. That's how.
I didn't know that.
That's how I ended up in Rialto anyway, because I was getting in trouble because I come from a broken home, right? And we moved from LA. We moved to the Valley. And when I moved to the Valley, it was a bunch of white boys, skinheads, all that stuff. And I was full-fledged with the business. So I wasn't turned down nothing. So I ended up getting kicked out of my mom's house, right? And I tell people all the time, when you don't have any guidance, there's 3 things that's going to come from, that's going to give you that affirmation, that's going to put you on the wrong path, right? That's going to be the drug dealer, the pimp, or the gangbanger.
It's one of the 3. And you know what? That's immediately... I mean, look, let's just be completely honest. We all gravitated to those people anyway. One of the 3 either had the money, the girls, the jewelry, the cars, all of which we all see in the movies, all of which we see through everyday life. You know, you might got an uncle who, you know, is full-fledged with the business. And he got dope, you know. Every time you see him at the family function, you know, he got his jewels on, clean, he got a bad woman on his side. But that's the only role model that you know.
Exactly.
That was my role model, except it was my cousin.
No, at 100%, it was my homeboy from East Coast, and he was like, and the crazy about it, thing is, he my big homie, right? But he was only like 2 years older than me.
Right. But he had already. But you gotta understand something. Big homie is a mindset. It's not necessarily just an age frame.
Facts.
Right? It's not an age margin. It's
Right.
really a mind frame. You can really be an OG in the head, and you can be younger than the cat that's outside being reckless and stupid.
100%. 100%.
40 years old.
100%. So I just wanted to say that, but go
No,
ahead and continue with your. So I'm just saying that we've been talking about this,
Right.
and you're reiterating what another black man has gone through. This is our process. As bad as it is, as bad as it is, this is our process, and the overcoming is the beautiful part.
That's the beautiful struggle of it. I mean, I like I said, I was kicking up dust, starting up trouble. You know, I was doing the most. You know what I mean? And in reality, for me, I wanted to be nothing like my father. Right? This is coming from a child who's seen his father, you know, do drugs and seen the effects, the instantaneous effects. That's a fearful thing. If I feared anything in life, it's drugs. I'll be 1,000 with you. Not that it'll, you know, the jail time you can get behind it. You know what I mean? It's at that effect, the side effects of what it does to you know, our people per se. In reality, I wanted to be nothing like my dad, and everything I did was in lieu of being completely opposite of him. So I went to school and I graduated, something he didn't do. You know what I mean? My dad was popular, but you know, he couldn't help me with my homework. You know, you know, that's unfortunate, but I'm completely transparent. I don't necessarily. I've never shied away from the fact of, you know, who my dad was. Or, you know, everybody knows my dad from the streets, but that's all they know my dad for.
Right.
Is the streets.
Yeah.
And I wanted more for that.
Yeah.
So even being you know, even being an active gang member when I always told myself, this ain't the end.
Yeah.
Like I used to tell people who are still in the same spot when I told them, I'm not gonna be here forever.
Yeah.
Like the world is bigger than Rialto.
But that's the beautiful thing, right? Because even when I did a lot of what I was doing because in the beginning I wanted to be like my pops, right? So I tell people all the time.
That's every child.
I tell people all the like, I'm cursed because I'm a Cowboys fan, right? But my pops was a Cowboy fan. But the older I got, it made sense on why we was Cowboy fans, right?
Yeah.
So the whole blue and gray, all of that, the hood colors. You understand what I'm saying? So the older I got, the more I started to realize, like, I understand why we're these fans. So I'm looking at my pops from a distance, and him not being able to give me these stories. I'm like, oh, we cribbing. That's what it is. That's what it is. So I'm like, that's what I'm on. You understand what I'm saying? And the issue with that is once I moved with him and I started to see the flaws in him and the reason why life looked the way that it looked as being a kid, I started to get the mindset of, I ain't trying to be like you.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying?
And you know, my cousin, now this is not to knock my cousin, right? But my cousin was probably the biggest influence on my life. But I'm forever grateful for my cousin because if he didn't teach me the things that he taught me, I wouldn't know what I would have known to survive.
Right. That's what I was about to say.
And maneuver around. You know, you can always take the bad. But like they say, you're supposed to take the bad with the good. You know, you have to be able to take that and convert it and find that silver lining. Otherwise, you're doomed. You stuck like Chuck. You're never gonna move. You know what I mean? No matter how much you talk about it, how attainable you make it seem. It's a mind thing. And it'll keep you further and further from it. If you don't create that about yourself. I was going to Job Corps. That's where I learned how to specifically be a plumber. You know what I mean? It started off being a welder. Funny story is I stopped. I quit being a welder. It's the only thing I've ever quit. I quit being a welder because I didn't wear my helmet one day, and I woke up and I couldn't open my eyes.
Oh wow!
And I had like metal shards in my eyes, and I didn't even know it.
Damn.
Wow!
And my eyes would not let me open it. Like my brain could tell my eyelids to open, and it was not happening.
Oh,
so
it was
crazy.
damaged.
I had to go so I had to go to the hospital. You know, obviously get all that stuff picked out, but it in turn led to me, you know, moving to a different.
This nigga's crazy. This nigga welded without
crazy.
But you know, it can happen.
The funny thing is, for a little bit, I was doing welding training myself,
Right.
but I didn't not wear my helmet.
You think, but see, I was thinking like, oh no, it's not that bad. You know, I've always had this complex where it's like, oh, pain ain't that much, but nah, it. Don't
because
ever
the thing
weld
is,
without your mask on. Don't look directly into the light.
Because the thing about welding, like you don't. Number one, you want to avoid the metal shards, and two, I forget the exact name, the arc light or something like that.
Arc,
like
the arc light.
It will fuck your eye. Yeah, it'll fuck your eyes.
It'll blind you if you
definitely.
It's like looking up and staring directly into
the sun.
It's like impossible.
Yeah.
You know, and to come out with it, you know, in good standing.
Yeah.
So, you know, that jacked me up. And for me, you know, like I said, I'm not a quitter, and I needed to come out of something. Plumbing was something that I gravitated to, half of which because I like the income that I could bring in with it. But on the flip side of that, I liked my instructor. And you know, shout out to Phil Ray. Philip Ray was, you know, this Mas Chingon, like Mexican cat, you know what I'm saying, with the slick comb back. You know what I mean? But he knew everything when it came to plumbing. You could not out-plumb him. There's no way. There's no way. And he made it, and the way he talked to you, he made it talk to you like it was simple.
Yeah.
Right? Because it was.
Yeah.
In reality, a lot of it is muscle memory and improvisions.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you can remember where things go,
Yeah.
then you'll always be able to do that job.
Right.
But if you can also improvise,
Yeah.
then that means you can take something that goes somewhere else and put it in light of what you're trying to fix.
Right.
He was the king of that.
Yeah.
And literally taught me everything that I know. You know what I mean? Everything I own, everything I learned, specifically as far as plumbing,
Yeah.
was definitely from him. Now there's a cat who's a famous cat, and I actually befriended his daughter in high school, Paris.
Oh.
Okay. So
Okay.
Paris's dad is
Paris,
Cornelius. Yeah.
well, no, you know you're talking about, because I don't want to say too much.
Paris.
I don't remember her last name, but she dark skinned.
Yeah. Kind of heavy set. Yeah. That's
Oh
fine.
no, what we talking about?
Well,
Somebody else.
you talking
Okay.
about
See,
Paris,
but see, because he was going left.
Yeah.
This nigga right here will go left.
And I didn't want to get nobody in trouble.
This
I'm
nigga
like,
will go
Oh, no,
left.
you know, like you talking about bubble butt for
Yeah,
two?
see, you see what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You gotta understand when his horns start going. That's why I was like, wait, because he will go left and he will take off running with it. You know what I mean?
But
Go ahead.
But nah, I befriended her in high school, and she became one of my really, really, really good friends, and we're still friends to this day. Her father, Bobby Green, is very famous.
OG.
Is an OG. Very famous for being one of the cats in the LA riots.
Yeah.
Who were actually saving.
He saved, what's his name? What's old boy got hit with the brick?
Yeah, he saved it.
Reginald Dennings.
Reginald Denny.
Yeah.
He saved him. Like,
Yeah.
he helped him and kept him safe from, because they was gonna kill him. In light of what
I
was
hit him
going
with a
on.
brick and I'm dancing. That's what Ice Cube said. That was the situation he talked
That
about.
was the situation.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this man is about 50 plus years old, cock diesel.
Yeah.
This is the biggest dude I've ever seen
Yeah.
in life.
Yeah.
In real time.
I still ain't even made it over there.
I
told him, I said, hey man, he said, well, you ready?
This cat right here, he'll scare you from working out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's that dedicated. He'll
Yeah.
go in there and upshow you for sure.
Yeah.
So he basically taught me everything. When I got into situations with my mother, who took me in, he would be there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Him and his wife, Miss Vera, God bless them.
Yeah.
But he would basically take care of, the things that I didn't know.
Yeah.
And, him teaching me everything that he taught me, I kind of just kept it. He taught me how to change my tire. He taught me how to, change my brakes.
Yeah.
And again, made everything seem easy. So once you learn how to do things for yourself, your mind triggers.
Yeah.
And it sparks that, okay, well, what if I can do this too?
Yeah.
What if I can do this too?
Yeah.
Fast forward, I end up in Job Corps. Now, mind you, Job Corps is just like school.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can stay on the dorms, or you can pull up to school every day.
Yeah.
I chose to stay on the dorms.
Okay.
Right? I've never been an online learner.
Yeah.
I've never been I'm a visual, hands-on learner.
Yeah. Trust me.
Bottom line.
I got my 2 degrees online. It's not for everyone.
It's not.
It's not.
It's really,
It's not.
really not for
It's
everybody.
not for everyone.
And I take that into consideration because
That was
everybody.
Pornhub. This nigga was looking at Pornhub. Everybody.
That was
on black.com.
I'm surprised the sound was still on.
Come on. But no, but the thing is that's important, right?
Right.
For anything in life is to accept your learning style.
Yes, and that's something that I, eventually learned once I finished my apprenticeship in 2010. Well, I finished the program and then started into my pre-apprenticeship.
Yeah.
I started learning more and more things about myself in lieu of me having my first son.
Yeah.
I had my first son while I was learning these trades.
Yeah.
So I had to learn how to not only to be a plumber but a father.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Which is completely blindsiding because of how, everything turned out.
Yeah.
That's a different story. But either way, when you find out certain things. Now you got to be the provider. So it's almost like things kind of fell into place
Right.
on their own.
Right.
You know, okay, now I know a trade.
Yeah.
Now I got to provide for this boy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So but let me ask you this, right? All of these things are going on, right?
Mm-hmm.
You learn your trades.
Mm-hmm.
You're learning to be a father,
Right.
right? You're still trying to juggle the demons of
Social life and the streets.
you understand what I'm
Past,
saying?
yeah.
All of that, right? What was the thing that made you say, I'm going into business for myself?
To be completely honest with you, it was the lack thereof from certain people, right? So I would always work for these companies who try to pigeonhole you
Right.
and keep you in a position where it's good for them and not necessarily your growth,
Right.
right? It's good for business,
Mm-hmm.
but that's why they say it's business, not personal.
Mm-hmm.
I always took it personal.
Yeah.
I never not took it personal.
On God.
I've never, not once.
That's why I said that, man. He says yes is yes, is no
Yeah.
is no. He gonna
Yeah.
let you know what he feels.
I took it personal. Anytime you told me I couldn't do something,
Mm-hmm.
I said the hell I couldn't.
Mm-hmm.
And if there was one instant, right, where I was working for this pipeline industry, right, multi-billion-dollar pipe industry, right,
Mm-hmm.
working for them, and they had, a foreman position available,
Mm-hmm.
and they said that I hadn't been with the company long enough because I, wanted to basically do this job, but they were willing to go hire somebody outside the company to do
Mhm.
it. And it wasn't because I didn't have the experience. It wasn't because it was because you guys didn't want me to go somewhere. See, a lot of times companies, they'll put you in positions where they want you to stay specifically in that position
Yeah.
because it's good for them.
Yeah.
It makes sense,
Yeah.
and they don't want to rock the boat.
Yeah.
But me, I'm gonna flip that bitch over.
My thing
I'm gonna flip
is,
it over.
I know.
Sink or swim.
I know.
cause my thing is like it's similar to that. Like I don't like being stuck. Like say like, cause my kids, I don't know how your
Uh-huh.
kids are, but mine's just in school. So it's like if they tell me like, say if my daughter or my son got an award assembly and I can't go,
Right.
that's a problem.
It is.
You can't
It's a
tell me
major
that.
problem.
You can't tell me I can't go to.
Imagine,
You know what I'm saying?
Imagine trying to explain that to. I got four kids. Imagine trying to explain that to somebody if one kid is sick one day or 1 week, and then you gotta
Trust me.
bail out and one kid break his leg or
No.
something.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm missing a whole lot of work. So now it seems like I'm inconsistent. It seems like I'm unreliable, right?
Yeah.
But in reality, they hire you not to care about your personal life.
They don't care
No
about
matter
none of
what
that.
company you work for, they do not care about your personal life.
And the thing is what you're saying. So I went to school for human resources.
Correct.
Right. And I have not got into my career field the way that I want to get into it yet.
Right.
Right. But I think that what businesses don't understand, we're taught, right,
Mhm.
that the human capital
Mm-hmm.
is important to the success of the company.
Mhm.
But you keep hearing stories the way that you're explaining it, right?
Yeah.
It is our job to understand that you are a person outside of the workforce.
Mhm.
You understand what I'm saying? It's my job at the end of the day to control the morale
For the company.
of the human capital.
Correct.
So if I sit down and I can talk to you and I get an interpersonal connection with you, then I can understand your plight
Right.
and I can work with you.
Right.
So if I come to an agreement with you, I can say, check this out. Nate, I understand you're dealing with X, Y, and Z.
Mm-hmm.
If I can get you to come in for the next 2 months without an issue, then anything else after that, I understand that these are circumstances that you can't control.
That's absolutely correct. But in a lot of cases,
They don't care.
they don't
There's
care.
no connection.
So the point, that's
And-
the
and
point
no
that
human
that's
connection.
the point that
There's-
I'm making.
Right. That's why it's always business, never personal. There's no human connection. Even with COVID,
That's
right?
backwards.
Completely, like in the beginning, I don't know where you guys were working when COVID hit, but
Yeah.
I was still at this pipeline
Yeah.
company. And I could feel that everything that was going on as far as protocol
Yeah.
when it comes to COVID,
Yeah.
it wasn't all CDC guided. It was more so personally guided.
Okay,
Mhm.
I can't.
Business
I'm
interests.
not gonna. People know where I work, but I'm not gonna say the name, so I would get in trouble.
Yeah.
There was a day when I came to work,
Uh-huh.
right, and I drive down to the yard to get some supplies,
Right.
and every truck is parked in the bay.
Every trip.
Every truck is parked in the bay.
That's unusual.
Unusual. No movement, nobody, nothing.
Right.
Right. So down in our yard, you have the mail warehouse,
Mhm.
right? That's shut down.
Mhm.
You have the groundskeepers. You have our plumbers, our electricians.
Yeah.
Everything is not moving.
Nothing moving.
I look in the parking lots. 4 cars. My car, 3 other cars.
Mhm.
Him, my coworker, I said, "Hey man, where everybody at?" They said, "Whoop-de-whoop, got COVID. Shut down the whole department. They made us come to work without even telling us."
Mhm.
And they said because you weren't interacting with any of these people. What they don't know is I was interacting with the supervisor who was interacting with that man that same
Bingo.
day.
It's an immediate connection automatically. So everything is personally based.
Mhm.
Everything was created off of whim. Everything was, in the beginning, it was for sure, because obviously every company in the world worth something had to figure out a safety module on how to actually care about this.
Yeah.
But everybody wasn't doing it
Yeah.
from a morale standpoint.
Yeah.
Everybody was doing it like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
you can't come. Like
Yeah.
I had to go take a test.
Yeah.
They didn't have thermometers there. This lady made me go buy my own
Yeah.
thermometer
Check-
just to scan my forehead.
Listen, it's crazy how dysfunctional jobs are.
And told me the only way I was gonna get
we
paid
have
is
like
if-
we have like a COVID check,
Uh-huh.
and so you walk in. They used to have the thermometer where you have to sit your head. They tell you
Right.
you can get in. So they got rid of that when we brought students back at 50. We're at 15%, right? So
Right.
it's not still no people on campus, but they still tell you to track your steps.
Right.
I purposely, for the last 3 months, have not filled out a form once.
Not once.
They haven't said a word to me.
Because it kind of just
It's
all
for looks.
depends.
It's
for looks.
It's for looks.
It's like you ever seen somebody come check your fire extinguishers?
Yeah.
It's for looks.
Yeah.
It's for looks.
Yeah.
That's it. They not really
They
checking. to
they
see
knock
if
they
really
knock
actually-
down a cobweb or two.
Yeah. That's it. Not a whole lot.
Yeah, they don't know
you
if it
check
working
your gauge.
back.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
We're not gonna really torch this
Yeah.
and see what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Ultimately, with plumbing, though, D, going back to that topic, with plumbing, it was just specifically Phil teaching me one thing and one thing more than anything. He said, this is the only trade
Yeah.
that a computer is not going to be able to do.
You can't replace it.
As long as people reproduce,
Yeah.
as long as people, regurgitate,
Just
as
gonna-
long as people have to use the bathroom,
Mhm.
there's going to be a need for a plumber.
Yeah.
As soon as he said that, that'll forever stick in my head.
Yeah.
And then later on, you learn in life, if you have a skill set,
Yeah.
if you learn a trade,
Yeah.
you'll always be able to feed your family,
Yes.
right? You just
Yeah.
have to have the will to want to.
Yes.
Mhm.
You gotta have that
Yeah.
will.
Right.
That's something that's, it's in you. It's
It's
not
in you.
taught.
It's in you, not on
So
you.
It's in you, not on you.
And for the sake of time, right? Because I
Right.
want to get into my man as well. What was the defining moment?
Being unappreciated and then fired
Okay.
because I voiced it.
Okay.
Being you can't basically voice anything to anybody umpteen times
Yeah.
without them getting irritated,
Yeah.
even in business.
Yeah.
You know what I
Oh,
mean?
trust me.
So I've always had this thing about myself where I paid attention to detail.
Yeah.
When I paid attention to procedures, I even listened in on conversations that weren't directly involved with me.
Yeah.
Well, you know what that taps into?
What?
Being in the streets,
Yeah.
being affiliated, like some
Because
of
you gotta
those.
keep your head on the
You
swivel.
know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
You have to be.
You
aware.
learn certain things and
Yeah.
tactics being in the streets.
But that's that.
But only the smart ones take it with
And
them.
that's the crazy part.
That
That's
part.
the crazy part about that is because I pride myself on being very discerning.
Correct.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? I can sit in a room
Mhm.
and I listen. I can feel a person out. I can hear a conversation and I can say, "Hey, he ain't about shit.
Mhm.
At all.
Watch him."
Not a thing.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I find myself at work doing the same thing.
And when
And
you
it-
have, go ahead.
And it's really like that.
Yeah.
You can look at somebody and tell if they're trying to pitch to you or if they're really trying to like spit what they know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can actually
You know when they run the game
tell
or not.
you can actually tell the difference.
Especially if you have certain type of interactions like selling stuff on the
Yeah.
streets. Like you know when somebody's trying to hustle you and you know when it's game, it's like nah man.
So the defining moment for me, creating my business, quality assurance, construction and remodeling, was specifically so I can do all the things that I said that I would do and be okay with myself. I wanted to create my own schedule. I wanted to do my own work without having someone over my shoulder micromanaging me. I wanted to put myself in a position where I could teach my sons how to eat. If whatever they so fit choose doesn't, actually work out. You know what I mean? Forbid it, but in reality, you have something to fall back on. These are things that I wasn't able to gain from anybody but life.
So let me ask you, this is a question to both of you guys, right? How much fear is involved with making the decision to go into business for yourself?
A lot.
Like for me, I remember when I was working my last job, it hasn't been since 2018. And I remember this one individual, he was in the same game, he did photography and videography as well. And I'll be online, I'll say like certain things, like man, like complaining basically. And like, why don't you just quit? Like start, just start, like get on your business, like. And I'm like, it's not that simple.
It's not.
It's not that.
People say that, it sounds good.
It sounds good, but once I actually did it, because the thing is, like, we're used to having that safety net,
right?
That predictable income,
job security.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what you're gonna have at the end of the week. I did X amount of hours, my check was gonna but when you work for yourself, ain't no safety net. You gotta,
ain't no
like
safety
some weeks is gonna be good, some's gonna be bad, whatever the case. But for going back to what you said, like it's not that simple, but it is. The thing is, once I started, because I call it divine intervention. Like I wasn't ready to leave, but I knew it was time for me to leave that job. It paid good. I was like, this is a good ass paying job. I'm not trying to leave that like this. But I ended up getting let go because of attendance or whatever. So it's like, okay, boom. Now I gotta really get on my head game. I'm not going back to working for nobody. That was my mindset.
And that literally was the same thing.
You know what I'm saying?
I just was like, okay, well that's it.
Yeah, it's just
I remember your post.
Ain't no time other than now.
You did, because you be fed up because you work multiple jobs. You just like, this is just all bull. It's a hamster wheel.
It is.
It's the same shit, just different.
Treadmill.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's just like for me, like when he used to say that, I didn't understand it until I actually just got into it. I'm like, oh. I was actually kind of scared for no reason. If I would have just, the thing is, and I don't know if I believe I said it on the last podcast, like, don't up and quit your job, set up a plan so you can exit. So it's like, if I would have just set up a little plan to exit, I would have been Gucci. I was scrambling for a little bit.
Yeah,
but
because I was there when you told me what you were doing. I was like, all right, brother.
But you know what? It doesn't always necessarily mean that you need an exit plan either. In a lot of ways, and this is being completely transparent, I didn't have a plan once I got fired. I really sat down and had to figure this out, and it took me a couple months before I really sat and realized, all right, ain't nobody coming to save you, dog. What you want to do?
Facts. But when I say like have an explanation, because like it can be stressful when you don't have no plan. You gotta sit there, but opposed to like getting yourself ready to take that jump.
I went through. I mean, in the last, let's say, I started my business officially in June. On the books, I'm somewhere in the 20,000 range in 4 months, and that's just off money alone, right? That's just off income. That's gross. Not that's net. That's I haven't took taxes away. That's gross off the rip. So in reality, it was like I got that first. You know how? All right, look. It's a wild comparison, but it makes sense completely. When you sell drugs, right? And you make your first sale. You're mind blown by how easy it is. You're like blown away. This is all I needed to do. And then once you figure out how much profit you made after you pay back whatever you were fronting or whatever you paid to the plug to re-up, once you pay it, you're like, okay, I got this left. And then you think about how much work you had to put in.
I'm gonna do it again.
When I did my first, I can't make this up. I did my first job, right? And it was a simple salon, faucet repair. It's like a shampoo repair.
Right.
Like a sink.
Right.
She paid me $100 for $20 worth of work. I mean, 20 minutes worth of work.
Mm-hmm.
$100.
That's a lick.
Do you understand how much $100 is in the working class?
Mm-hmm. That's
how
a
much?
week.
How much? Exactly. It's a week's
work.
worth of work, people. That's a week's worth of work. I made $100 in 20 minutes. I was immediately turned
this
out.
nigga was hooked. This nigga was
fiend.
This nigga was Franklin Saints in the construction world. This nigga said, "I need to be on every corner,
I need everything." So I don't turn down. I literally don't turn down no jobs.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can tell me I cannot do.
Right.
YouTube is one of my biggest influences.
Man.
That's for damn sure.
Oh,
Don't
God.
let nobody tell you different.
Oh,
You can learn
God.
everything you need to know.
YouTube,
I'm
University
YouTube
right
guru
here.
right here, nigga.
YouTube
You
University.
can learn everything.
Yeah.
My mentor Bobby Green said, man, if you don't know how to do something, go to YouTube.
Yeah.
It'll tell you exactly what you need. It don't matter if it's from 2005
Yeah.
or if it's from 2019.
It's all the same.
It's still
information.
accurate. It's good information as long as what you're looking at is the
Yeah.
end result.
Yeah.
So in reality, I had money, a little bit of money saved up, but I had to figure out what exactly I was going to do, and it seemed like the best thing to do was just to create an LLC, get licensed, insured, and bonded, and really take it from there. And ever since then,
Blessings.
I've been, able to provide for myself.
Yeah.
I've been able to put other people on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My childhood friends who are struggling or going through whatever hardships. As long as I feel like I can trust you, you can come work with me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I specifically, cater to, black people because it really takes a village, man.
Yes.
Right.
It doesn't stop because you're
Right.
not a baby, man.
Yeah.
It really
Man.
takes a village.
Say
man.
that.
It does not stop. It really does not stop
Say
because you're 21 or the biggest mindset is we think we're grown when we're 18.
It's like with Nelly and them, we all we got.
Yeah.
Literally.
You know what I'm saying? Literally, like
Literally.
we literally have to build each other up, hold each other accountable.
Yeah.
You know
So
what I'm saying?
the feeling of going from an employee to an employer is an unmatched feeling, dude.
Yeah.
It's an unmatched feeling.
Yeah.
It's
God.
I really genuinely wake up every day and say, all right, what I gotta do today?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What I got on the books.
Yeah.
I was late. Excuse me for my tardiness. I was late here because I've been hanging up TVs and repairing showers.
Yeah, I ain't tripping on that.
Literally,
It's Friday. It's Friday.
The work is there if you need it, and a lot of it is basic economic supply and demand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's always going to be a demand for something to be fixed. There's always going to be a demand for change because just because something works doesn't mean that it can't be improved.
Right.
You know what I mean? And if you keep that mindset, then you'll always be hungry. You'll always make money.
Yeah.
I always tell people like the biggest thing about being self-employed is that you don't really understand freedom because there's still like when you lock down to a job, it's like they just got you stuck.
Yeah.
And then, like, of course, like, the whole, I don't want to compare it to slavery and stuff like that.
Yes, I call my job the slave ship.
but it's like, you don't understand the true meaning of freedom once you own your time.
Yeah.
Bingo.
When you own your time and you can operate on a time that you want to and nobody's holding you like, no, you can't do that, or you go to eat at this time and blah, blah, like, when you own your time, it hit different.
Never knew what it was like to go to Disneyland during the week until I started working myself.
Hey,
That's a fact. You know how empty Disneyland is Mondays and Fridays. Disneyland is a damn chaos on the weekend.
If y'all not paying attention,
don't let it be a blackout.
If you guys are not paying attention to the subtle beauties of freedom,
man,
y'all better wake up.
Man.
Because that right there is a small thing that most of us take for granted. Because when are we mostly free? Saturday or Sundays? When you're on the slave ship, Saturday or Sunday. I work at Amistad. the slave ship. Saturday or Sunday. You understand what I'm saying? That's beautiful. That it's subtle.
It is.
But that freedom It's
you genuinely.
Yeah.
Because I was gonna say I was watching a podcast. I think I sent that one to you.
Yeah.
But he was basically explaining like the ultimate currency is time.
Yes.
Like the money is an illusion.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you really break it down and really think about it, because you're going to work in exchange for your time to get money, so you can go do things or whatever. But it's like ultimately like you gotta have time to spend that money and to do certain things and stuff like that. And like he was breaking it down like as far as like entertaining women or whatever, dating whatever, or even being in a relationship that like the money it comes off like as how can I explain this? How you said it? Like ultimately, like a lot of times women want time. So when you take them on the trip, yeah, you pay for it, but it's the time that was important. Even with your kids,
don't care about the dollar sign.
You know what I'm saying? Like it was the time.
And
if they're solid,
and if she's a solid woman, she'll pay for her ticket.
You know what I'm saying?
Not to say that that's what we expect, but
mine does. That's why I
she'll pay for the you know. She'll be like, I'm just ready to go spend some time with you.
And that's the ultimate value.
Can't cuss out if that time ain't spent right.
Facts. Without a doubt. So, I mean, ultimately, in reality, everything that I've been doing thus far was just strictly so I can have something to call my own. I'm the first business
ownership
in my family. There's not one person that owns anything. I own everything that breathes and walks. You know, quality assurance. I've always prided myself on quality work, so that's why I named my company Quality Assurance, because I can guarantee that I've already crossed all the T's and dotted the I's that you're gonna look for.
And the work,
you're gonna proofread
the work speak for
You're
itself.
gonna proofread my work, and I'm going to make sure that you don't find any errors. And if you do, I'll fix it for free. There's absolutely nothing wrong with holding yourself accountable as long and holding yourself to a standard as long as you can deliver. There's really nothing wrong with it. You know what I mean? It's just all a part of being about who you say you are.
And segueing off of that, right? So y'all know, like I read, read, right? So I'm reading this book, Cast.
Okay.
And it just breaks down the hierarchy of our social structure, right? In America, it starts with skin tone, and then it goes to class, sex, all of that. There was a story about a black-owned grocery store that was right across the street from a white-owned grocery store. They were in competition. Right. The black-owned grocery store was kicking the white store's ass. The white store started this situation, this, that, and third, a fight in front of the store. Police came, people got killed, burnt the motherfucker to the ground. Right? You know about Black Wall Street. That was one of the first black communities that had indoor plumbing, theaters, doctors, lawyers. It was self-efficient. The situation happened where a black man and a white woman, the story is they were actually a couple, but they were on the low, right? And they were having a lover's quarrel. The elevator doors happened to open up, and you know, my girl gonna be mad at this, but women be emotional, so I'm thinking it was the woman's fault. Why, when the doors opened, people saw the situation.
All they see is a white woman
upset
angry at a black man,
but she was upset emotionally for whatever reason, right? So, long story short, you know, the police had to take this man because they knew that the Klan was coming. No matter if it was not an issue or an issue, they're killing you because you were had a white woman upset. Black community comes, white community comes, standoff, white man gets killed. They burn Black Wall Street to the ground, massacre hundreds of black people, right? The massacring of the black people had nothing to do with we were at war.
Nothing at all.
This was jealousy of the prosperity of the community.
And it's a sickness, man. That's a complete sickness right there. And you know, and the sick part about it is, it doesn't only necessarily have to be black people.
No, and that's the point that I'm trying to get to. The point that I'm trying to get to is the importance of the black entrepreneur and the burden that you guys carry.
Oh man, it's major.
As black entrepreneurs.
You know, you have to appreciate the challenge though.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because these are things that I think anybody before us kind of felt and looked at from, you know, even if they hadn't, they felt it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that's the beauty of the challenge is, like I said, you're gonna sink or you're gonna swim.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Is you gonna sit there and, you know, freeze to death, or you gonna try to swim? I'm gonna swim, dog.
Yeah.
Man, it comes with you gotta kind of love the game, like especially if you got that hustler spirit, like the hustle spirit in you, like it's like, again, it's in you, not on you.
Yeah.
Right. Like you want the challenge.
Yeah.
Because in challenge, that's growth. You know what I'm saying? Because if it's comfortable, you're doing the same thing. That's muscle memory. You can't get stronger if you don't change the weight. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you gotta challenge yourself to become better, so you can be able to pass down to your kids or to help your community, or pull somebody up, whatever the case may be. If you're not trying to be active in here and being a change, don't complain. Like you can't complain if you ain't out here trying to make change.
Right. It's a lot of complainers in the world.
You know what I'm saying?
How many of those people really are doing things?
They ain't doing shit, but they always got an opinion.
That's funny. As I said, I was talking to my grandmother today about that. I told her, I said, you know, the people who ain't doing nothing, that sit around that are toxic, those are the people who complain the most. I said the people who are actually doing, they're so busy evolving that they don't have time.
But you know what? It's human nature, and I have to play devil's advocate a little bit because I gotta relate it to sports.
Okay.
We look at athletes and we're like, you bum.
Yeah.
But in reality, he's a professional.
Yeah.
He's a professional.
Yeah.
But we look at things because we're like, why you didn't go this way with it? Or why you didn't pass that way? You know what I mean? And you know, we don't see what they see. You know what I mean? Just because we got a bird's eye view doesn't necessarily mean that
it didn't look like
we
that
know every aspect of the game. You know what I'm saying? We gotta take accountability. You know that we're human. And we're gonna make mistakes. You get what I'm saying? And I think that's one of the biggest things that plays into, you know, being an entrepreneur too, is a lot of people don't want to fail, right? A lot of which
the fear of failure has stopped people from doing many
great things.
Yes,
I remember Les Brown. He said the most what he said, not the most expensive, but basically the place that has like the most value, for lack of better words, is the graveyard, because at the graveyard is a lot of dreams that didn't come to life, a lot of businesses that never came to life, a lot of songs that didn't get written. You know what I'm saying? Because they were scared. You can't let those goals and dreams die with you. You gotta put that into the universe. God gave it to you for a reason.
Even if you
you the vessel.
Even if you speak in it. Genuinely, even if you speak in it, it's all it takes is a thought to really grasp something and really turn it into that rose that grew from the concrete. You know, that's one of the biggest, one of the best metaphors that Tupac has used is, you know, sparking that thought, planting that seed in the mind of somebody that could really change.
And the beautiful thing about this group right here, right, is because that's why I always go back to the Rialto energy.
Right.
Because people who know Rialto, like my grandmother has never been in Rialto. She just hears the news. So she's like, I know you ain't over there. Right? And she like, I got into a car accident.
Get your butt out of there.
I got into a car accident on Baseline at Riverside Avenue.
Okay.
Right? And she was like, where were you at? I said, man, I was on Baseline. Why were you in Rialto? I told her. I said, why you act like I can't go to Rialto? She was like, you ain't got no business over there, right? And I told her, I said, but you know, at the time I was dating somebody over there. I said, so that's the only reason why I've been doubling back, this, that, and third. So from the outside looking in, it ain't nothing gonna grow there, right? Yeah. But all three of us are a product of that city.
Bingo.
Because it's not all bad.
It's not all bad.
Like every city, there's always going to be bad areas.
Yeah.
The whole city ain't rotten.
The whole city.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just like
there's really some amazing people.
Exactly.
In Rialto, and you know what? Rialto's gotten better.
You know what I mean? North Side Rialto, they renovating like a motherfucker.
Right? Yeah. The north end is.
It's always been like that though.
It's always been country club.
Yeah,
it's always been country club.
They're working their way down, trying to gentrify.
They gave them a high school, you know. They gave them Carter, so now they really
they own
different
it.
section.
Yeah. They even moved them in a whole new Rialto middle.
I know, come on, man. Yeah.
But I mean, you know, every city, like you said, every city has its ups and downs, and its, you know, its hot spots, and you know, it's spots where it's neutral.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I spent some time in San Bernardino as well, just through living with my grandmother.
Yeah.
So a lot of which, you know, San Bernardino. If you know Rialto, you know San Bernardino is the next city.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I lived.
There's one street.
I lived behind the county jail.
Right.
When I lived in San Bernardino, so
you lived right over there
I was off
second.
I was off of between
third.
I was between
Like third. Yeah.
I was between Waterman and Tippecanoe in the neighborhoods in the back.
Yeah, you was over there in the trenches.
You understand what I'm saying? I'm trying to tell y'all.
Yeah.
It's ashy.
Where the dishes is. You know,
It's ashy. Go right by the projects. Five steps this way. You at the projects. All of that. So
you get you a couple prostitutes.
No, never.
The baseline.
See what I said? Left.
Porn.
Left.
Hey, but it's the truth. Stay on baseline.
Stay on baseline.
Stay on baseline.
You don't want those prostitutes.
Yeah.
But
or by Motel 6.
Man. Or if you take it a little bit towards Rialto, you're gonna find yourself at the TP.
Yeah. Stay away from those.
Stay away.
Yeah.
It's not.
It's not safe.
It's not a vacation getaway spot. Don't let that website fool you. I posted. You remember I posted that?
Posted that. They try to make.
Hey, that shit look fly as hell. I was like, nigga, I'm gonna go there.
To go. No.
As long as I've lived, I've never been in the TP.
Neither have I. I just drive past.
Drive right past it.
Yeah.
It's literally a monument.
Yeah.
It's a monument.
It really is. I don't think they're gonna turn that down.
Dang, man, why would they? For what?
Yeah, it's a monument.
Yeah, it's a monument.
Yeah.
That thing's been there forever. But you know, you always have that fear when you start businesses.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You think, what if it tanks? What if I gotta go bankrupt? What if you know, I don't have enough money to do X, Y, and Z?
Mm-hmm.
But if you pay attention long enough, you'll figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that I learned, I had to train myself to remember.
Mm-hmm.
So my memory is really, really long for things. I remember things that people can't remember, and I'm like,
and I think speaking to that, and I chime in if you agree. I feel like that's because we came up with oh, my bad. I say that is a trait that we all have because we lacked something.
correct.
So you hold on. I have memories from when I was 5, right? And people always say, like, damn, yo, man, you really, like my aunt one time, I was having a conversation with her. She said, how you remember that? You were 5 years old. I was like, no, we was on Crenshaw, whoop-de-whoop. And she was like, how you remember that? And I never really understood how I remember things. But what I understood was this. As I got older, my grandfather was my only father figure.
Right.
And the lessons that he taught me were between 5 and 14.
Right.
So I had to remember
Right.
those lessons,
Yeah.
like he said yesterday, because that was the only teaching and knowledge that I had.
That's it. That's it. You know, you take what you can from life. Like I became the detailed person, the outspoken person that I am. Like I said, I had to fight for pretty much everything. You know what I mean? You know, from love to money to attention. You know what I mean? And as you grow, you know, eventually it turns into, you know, you're gravitating towards something else. So you're gonna let go or something. So I let go of the attention. You know what I mean? I didn't learn that I was an introvert until I was in college.
Yeah.
I didn't know what it meant to be an introvert.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was taking psych, and she was like, "These are introverted people, and these are extroverted people." And I'm an introvert. You know what I mean? So it seems like I was a people person growing up, But in reality,
But I feel like you're a mixture of both.
Ain't he like omnivert and some shit like
Something.
that?
I think he's a mix. Like
That's what
just,
a mixture of both.
Yeah,
a mixture.
Omnivert,
Yeah,
something
he's
like
a
that.
mixture of both.
like
because,
I could be in a room with a
Yeah.
gang of people and see all of y'all and speak to all of y'all, but I'm gonna go over here and chill and do my
I'm
yeah,
the
but
same
then
way.
there's times you go into the room and you the life of it.
correct.
I'm the same.
That's why I say you're a mixture.
So it gets that way,
Yeah.
but I'm only that way with people I know.
Yeah.
You can't put me in a room full of strangers.
Well, I'm extroverted than a motherfucker. Y'all know that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I won't. But no,
I think you're a mixture
Nah,
of
he's
No,
an extrovert
no.
for sure.
if I don't fuck with you, I don't say a word. If I'm in a room with niggas that I don't know, I don't say a word. But that's being taught from the streets. I was taught to always let other niggas tell on themselves first.
Right.
I still think you're a mixture of both.
Okay.
Because I can see when you're reserved and I can see when you're extroverted.
Yeah.
So I think you like
When I'm
like
reserved, I'm
those.
tripping on the inside, but go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm on some bullshit. Yeah.
Because there's people-
And but you know what? 10 out of 10, I
Yeah.
really be on something
Yeah.
all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Like you can see it in my face.
Yeah.
People be like, "Dang, smile," and I be like, "This my happy face."
Yeah. This is
Like for real, I'm really cool.
Yeah.
Don't do that though.
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah,
you gonna
yeah,
irritate me.
yeah,
It
yeah.
really make me mad.
Yeah, and that's what it be. I be on like
No,
you gotta
yeah.
understand like with y'all, cause y'all my people, whatever. Y'all gonna see I'm a fool. I'm gonna shoot jokes.
Right.
I'm gonna do all of that. But when I'm in an environment, if I don't know nobody, this, that, and third, I always go for what I know. And I was taught, listen, these niggas is gonna tell you everything you need to know. Just let them talk.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm
It
saying?
turns you into like a people watcher in a way.
Yes.
It's automatically. That's what the streets do.
Yes.
Like you have to watch because it's like you don't know who's on what.
Yeah.
Like
It's like you don't listen. You
Yeah.
don't even listen to respond right
No.
away. You know what I mean?
No.
You might bring it up later, a couple
Yeah.
days later, like, "Hey, I was just thinking about something you said the other day." You know?
I peep everything. I just be watching. Okay.
That's what you.
But the
have
thing
to
is,
do. It's
like-
the environment that we grew
But
up
at the same time, like being who I am, like I learned because I'm by default I'm introvert. I had to learn how to become extroverted
Mhm.
I believe that
And-
about you too.
Yeah.
because I'm real chill. I'm real mellow.
Really introverted.
Like,
Yeah.
but like you wouldn't be able to tell at certain times. Like you guys, this nigga.
Listen,
like,
say something.
so now I know how to. Like when I go into
Boys come out, boy.
so now I know how to go into rooms. Like
Yeah.
usually I'm used to just being quiet. Sometimes I still like do
Yeah.
that. But depending on what the temperature is, I'm like, okay, I know how to break the ice.
Yeah.
Right.
Like I'm the type that's gonna break the ice. Like even in school, like I was always like the one that was goofy, class clown type
Right.
shit. So it was just like that's what probably, even though I wasn't like hopping up in the streets and gang banging and shit like that, I was around it, but everybody knew I was cool. So nobody fucked with me. So it's like when you that nigga that's like this always cool, get along.
and that's for people who don't know there's levels to the street.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
If I was
Yeah.
ever extroverted growing up, it was for sure female influence.
Yeah.
That's a fact. That's the only time.
Yeah, because I got.
You couldn't be around me and be my homie and you know not see me around
Yeah.
a female.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, I had one with
Yes.
me at all times,
Yes.
and that was the only time that I was extroverted.
Yeah.
It was because I was trying to see what's happening.
Yeah.
See, with the woon wah.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
But in reality, I'm really like I get around males and I just peep.
Yeah.
Cause that's just my natural. I want to see what's going on.
Yeah.
I could chime in on stuff you'll never think I overheard.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No,
Like,
I
"Damn,
know.
you heard me?"
I know. I'm not getting into no details, right? Ontario. Listen,
like
I'm
that.
not gonna do him like that.
Don't do me
But
like
it was a conversation that he overheard.
Yep.
I didn't hear nothing. I was next to him,
It was virtually.
and
Right.
I was
Satellite ears.
next to him, and I took 3 steps, and the rest we gonna leave the rest to where it's
It
at.
was a fun night.
It was a fun night.
It was a fun.
It was a
night.
fun. Ooh, we were so drunk that night.
Oh my
Hey, have you ever just been drunk and you like sober at the same time because you done drunk so much?
Man.
Well, how many we drank? Like 6 bottles.
goodness. Too many.
It was
It
like
is too many.
we had one bottle of Henny, Douce.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Lit.
We
we
had
was-
sparklers galore.
yeah, bro.
that night.
We was
We had a section and all that.
we was
Turn up.
on. We was on.
But you gotta understand something. Being that way is a gift and a curse, right?
Yeah.
It's a gift and a curse because sometimes you really jumping into something
Yeah.
that you really don't got no business in,
Yeah.
addressing.
Yeah.
So a lot of times you gotta really be mindful of
Yeah.
who you talking to and what you talking to. And it's a lot of times where I didn't shut up.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily make you a chump.
Yeah. No.
In reality, it makes you
It makes you wise,
but it makes you stronger.
Because the ignorant
you got
man,
more willpower if you.
Because the ignorant, you gotta remember, we got 2 ears, 1 mouth.
Yeah.
You gotta listen before you talk.
Yeah.
Right.
So
You know
when I lived in the valley, right? So all of the people who was from LA gravitated towards each other, right?
Mhm.
So it was a clique of us. It was cat from East Coast, cat from Rolling 20s, all of this stuff. And I remember we was outside. We was getting into it with the Popcorn Pie Roos.
Oh, okay.
Right, and we was in front of this Carl's Jr. that we were hanging out with, and the youngsters couldn't handle us, right? So they called the OGs. So like 2-3 cars pull up, these OGs hop out. I'm talking about at 13. At 13, I had like a crew.
G. Will, I hope he wasn't available for that day. He's from Corbin.
Yeah. So I had older cats underneath me because of just how I moved back there, right? And so this guy came up. He said, "Hey, blood, y'all know where I can get a burr at?" We standing in front of Carl Jr., so I already know what it is, right?
You tripping.
Right? And I didn't say nothing. I said, "Sure, right there." And so the homie was like, "Cuz, I should have told him this is 21st Street."
Mm-hmm.
And I told him, I said, "Hey, at 13, I said, you going to survive longer by knowing how to pick your battles."
Man, listen.
There was 15 of them.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you? He came over here to test the water, bro.
Mm-hmm.
He came over here to see how you was.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, it ain't always being about being like that.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people pride themselves on being like that because
Yeah.
they think that that's the end all be all.
Yeah.
Truthfully speaking,
Yeah.
it ain't got shit to do with shit.
No.
In reality, if you like that, you either gonna come out of the situation or you not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Be the biggest, baddest.
It don't
most
necessarily
gangster.
mean that you always gonna come out on top.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, I remember having this thought like the other day, like being like the hardest motherfucker out here is not gonna pay the bills. It's
Right.
not gonna have you going home to your kids, to your family, or it's not gonna get your business. You know what I'm saying? Like
And
that, all that being hard shit is for the birds.
I tell, I ain't gonna say the person's name. That's the thing about having a podcast.
Can't speak on
You
it.
can't speak on everything and say people's names and stuff. Yeah.
That's right.
So one time this person told me, "You never turn up," but this person met me at 29, right? And I tell them like, y'all didn't know me at like a younger age because it was win, lose, draw. Like realistically, I could care less about losing a fight. I just want to make sure that when you go home and the next time you see me, you like, hey, he with all that, right?
That
So
don't
I told
mean you gonna win that.
That
next one.
don't mean you gonna win that next one because
We
now
all got to
I'm replaying it and my combination should have been better.
Exactly.
But I put it to you like this: I told the individual this, and this is one thing that used to weigh on me and wear on me from being in the streets and having that ignorant mentality, right? Was that you were always the entertainment.
Facts. They gonna hype you up to fight on some bullshit.
You understand what I'm saying? It didn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
You were the entertainment. They don't matter if you going to jail.
Oh, you gonna let that nigga do that to you, cuz?
All of
Oh,
those
blood, you got no, you can't.
all
let
of
that
those things. They don't care. And so I told the individual, I could go out here and act a fool everywhere I go. I'm over being y'all entertainment.
That's it.
That's growth.
That's it.
That's growth.
That's real growth.
That's growth.
When you come from the streets, it's easy to get sucked into that dark asshole. You know, when it comes to being from somewhere, from a section and whatnot. Now, mind you, you know, you are who you are, especially when you're too old not to be.
Yeah.
I am who I am.
Yeah.
I can't denounce, you know, where I come from
Yeah.
and you know, the things. What I can say is that I learned how to handle certain things separately better than others.
Yeah.
Because I still got homies that are older than me
Yeah.
that think it's above all else being top notch, you know, the top dog being, you know, more bigger,
And you
bigger, the biggest gangster in the world.
And you want to know where that come from? Right? So, all of us yearn to be good at something. All of us yearn to be good at something, right? All of us want to get that pat on the back. Hey, man, you did that, right? Most of these cats who can't leave it alone, it's because they have no claim to fame to anything else.
They're still seeking validation.
They still seeking validation, and it's like when I was younger. My validation, I didn't have my father in the house with
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't have that. Hey, you doing good, son.
Yeah.
So what happened is the first day that I got into, niggas was like, oh, hey, this nigga hold his own. He hold his own, right?
Yeah.
So then I got into it again, but it was multiple people.
Yeah.
And they was like, he ain't run for nothing. So next you know, it was dude from so next thing I know, right? My associations with the people who are around me are now street associations.
Okay.
Right? And because of the lack of the father figure and all of that stuff, I'm loving all of it. You understand what I'm saying? I'm getting the whole speech. Hey, job or no job, you better be with the business. Hey, this nigga told me, this is one thing I ain't never been able to get with, right? He said, if a nigga knock your tooth out, don't get it fixed. That's a war.
Nigga, fuck you.
I'm not walking around snagging tooth for nothing.
But the logic of some street niggas, it be like, bro, like, nigga, what? Like, what are you talking about?
Because, hey, but you know what? They condition that.
Yeah, it's definitely conditioned.
Like, it's a condition. Like the same way, like people are conditioned to believe, you know, certain things about the world. Yeah. That's one of them, bro.
It is.
You know, you're conditioned to think that it don't matter. You know, it's cribbing over everything. Or, you know, that's how a lot of cats like from Pasadena was. Yeah. You feel me? Like D Braves and all of them. Yeah. Homie. Yeah. Like I really, really first, and this is recently watched Banging on Wax for the first time.
Okay. Yeah.
I watched Banging on Wax. Yeah. Both of them. Yeah. The Crip and
yeah.
Oh, them niggas is idiots.
Yeah.
They was ignorant.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's all they knew. And that was a time where they didn't have as many opportunities as we have. Yeah. And you can tell in a lot of the old heads nowadays, like it's some old heads like who got social media and you know, got certain things going on in the world that's new technology that they didn't have when they were our age. Mm-hmm. And they don't know what to do with it.
No.
They don't know how to make it work for them.
Listen, and when they be looking at like I got an old head and I send them like twerk videos.
Right. He be like,
this nigga be happy enough. Check.
He already.
Where she at?
He already sent his check.
The first question he's asking is where she at. Yeah. Like you know her.
Yeah. I got a video. I got a video. That's funny that you brought this up, right? Because it's so true. I got a video. I'm in San Pedro with my cousin shooting his music video, right? Right. And we got the little Corvette on the street. This old white dude comes walking out. He's like, man, what kind of Corvette is that? Right? So my cousin don't know nothing about cars. He's just borrowing the car. Right? So the guy's like, well, I'm an entrepreneur, this, that, third. I love cars. This is my thing. Do you guys need a woman for your video? Right? And I'm like,
sir, are you a pimp?
Yeah, I was like, what'd he say? He said he got a woman for us. And we was like, man, we cool. He said, no, when you guys see her, he was like, your thing is going to get hard. Let me go get my phone. Thing. Right? That's exactly what he said. When he brought back his phone, this is a female that I know he ain't never seen in his life, but he been sending her money. Jesus. That's
you cut you off something.
I hit something.
It's that.
Yeah, but anyways, they the old heads don't know nothing about nothing. But before we go all the way off, because I know you enjoy.
I didn't even say shit.
No.
All you, nigga.
I know this is your energy, and I know you're gonna run. But let's get back to. I want to get back to.
You got so far away from entrepreneurship.
I did. I want to get back to entrepreneurship.
They got into the streets.
Another thing. So just back to just reading, right? So Malcolm X did a speech, "The Bullet or the Ballot," right? And he spoke about group economics.
Correct.
Right. So ultimately, he was killed because he was trying to bring the black community to a different type of understanding. The black dollar has always been one of the strongest dollar bills in the United States of America, right? He wanted us to start hospitals, tax companies, all of that stuff. Not because it was cool to do. It was so that we can employ ourselves. And that money that we get, we take back to our community.
You got to think about it. There's no question that black people are accelerated thinkers. There's no question that we're not. Okay, you have to think about all the people who have created things that we use every day. You get what I'm saying? Air conditioning. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Did you guys, not to cut you off, did you guys see the post that I put up from the book that I was reading? where even the technology of vaccines was introduced to the United States?
Bingo. That's not.
You didn't see that?
That's not a part.
It blew my mind.
That's not a part of Western medicine.
This is not a part of Western medicine,
Right.
right? And it explained that when it first was introduced was through the Native Americans
Right.
on how they used to treat snake bite
Right.
victims. They would take a little bit of the poison, put it into something, put it into somebody else, so that if you got bit by this snake, now you have this immunity. So then it was a slave that came. And they were doing, was it small? I forget what it was, smallpox or something like that. And this slave went and told them, like, back in the village, when somebody got sick, we would take a little bit of that sickness, mix it with little herbs or whatever, and shoot that into somebody else, so that the rest of the village don't get sick.
I never heard that.
It was an African slave who brought the vaccination to the point where they was upset with the technology and they knew it would work, but they was mad because it was a nigga who told them about it.
You gotta understand.
Ooh, I wanna shoot you, but damn nigga, you're smart.
but probably still did. You know,
They said he died a slave. He bought half of his freedom.
He bought half
so he
of
was
his
halfway.
freedom. So he
That's
was
crazy.
half slave, half free man.
That's
so
crazy.
that means he still worked. You know what I'm saying? Just for certain liberties in his life.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's no. Black people are no stranger to their creativity.
Yeah.
Black people are no stranger to their eclectiveness. Black people are no stranger to the things that they were able to accomplish just off thinking. And like you said, the thoughts came from being deprived of something, right?
That's
Because
fact.
you want more.
Survival.
You see what I did there?
Yeah.
You see how that went back to it?
Yeah.
It's about being deprived. When you're deprived of something, it creates the best in you.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, when you go into survival mode, now you gotta get real. What's the word I'm looking for? Like the ingenuity that you
That's
use.
my favorite mode to be in.
You know what I'm saying? Like you get
Survival
real
mode.
creative.
Yeah.
You get real creative. You'll figure, and that's the thing about entrepreneurship. Because for most people, our followers, whatever, our viewers, like they know I do multiple things: cut hair, videography, photography, make beats,
Shirts.
clothes. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Need one.
so like, the thing is, like, you gotta be able to, it's about problem solving. Like, especially when you're in the beginning, like, stages of your business, you gotta figure it out because some days it's not gonna be good, some weeks it's not gonna be good. But you gotta know how to pivot. That's why I learned how to do multiple things. Like, I didn't always do podcasts, recording and shit.
Right.
Like, I was always in, like, anybody that know me, I was into music first.
Right.
This was a byproduct from me.
Remember.
You know what I'm saying? This was all a byproduct of me being in music. Oh, we need videos and pictures. Let me go get a camera. Got a camera. Oh, when I was first rapping, I need beats. I started learning how to make beats. Oh, like, now I know how to do photography. Oh, we need merch. I learned how to make merch.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's the whole thing of being in survival and being creative on how can you get ahead. Because if you just stick to one plan, like one formula, sometimes that shit ain't gonna work that day.
Yeah.
Like as far as being an entrepreneur, when you working, you got a set check, whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
But like when you really come from the hustle cloth, like you gonna figure that shit out.
Yeah.
One way or another.
Doing construction doesn't necessarily entail plumbing. You know
You know what I'm saying?
So to coincide with that,
You know how to repair, hang TVs, like
exactly.
it's multiple things.
Paint like Picasso.
I genuinely, but to be completely honest with you, the painting is probably the most peaceful I am in life. It's because when I'm painting, it's literally just me and my work.
Are you talking about like paint pictures or houses?
No, when I paint houses.
This nigga.
I put everything into it, bro. Like the remodels that I did a staircase, right?
I think, did you post that? Yeah, I seen
That's what I
it.
said.
I did the staircase.
I didn't know it was you though. I didn't know what was going on.
I did the staircase railing and I did it two-tone.
Yeah.
Right? White on top, gray in the middle, white on the base.
Yeah.
You know, that took me a long time
Yeah.
to do. It took me about 2-3 hours just to get that done. It took me an hour alone to get the taping. Then you gotta flip flop. You gotta let one paint dry, and then you gotta flip it and tape it up.
Yeah.
So in reality, everything that entails construction, it's more than plumbing. It's more than painting. It's framework. It's electrical. It's flooring. You know what I mean?
But the thing is, like, same like how I did,
Right.
you mastered your industry.
Right.
You didn't, there's plumbing, there's painting, there's repairing, hanging TVs. That in case the industry of home improvement.
Because construction is just an umbrella. Everything else is the raindrops.
You know what I'm saying?
You know what I mean?
Like when you do that, then it's like you put yourself in position. Like I said, if I give you a fish today, you eat today.
Right.
But if I teach you to fish,
I'll
you
eat
eat
every
forever.
day.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
facts.
And so it's like the fact that you went on to teach yourself that. Now it widens it broadens your horizon. Like I learned all this stuff based off entertainment, like being in like entertainment. So it's just like, okay, I don't want to be limited to just this. Let me broaden how I see the scope. So that way, if I learn this skill set, I'm able to sell this service now.
Yeah.
I'm always cutting the middle. That's my thing. Cut the middleman
out.
Like,
and you know, I've always prided myself on my work ethic too. You know, I get a lot of my work ethic. I get it from videos, right? So I used to watch these videos of Diddy. Right? I watch this. It's one video that stands out the most, right? Early Diddy. Puffy.
Yeah.
take that.
Puff Daddy.
Yeah.
It was Puff, right? And he was sitting in the office, and he was on the phone. He was having a conversation, and it was a conversation that he's been waiting on. And the empowerment that he got from that conversation was, I know that I can do anything. So what's next? And I'm being a little bit more calmer. He was just like,
what's next?
I want what I want.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get it.
Didn't he challenge the staff after that too, though?
He challenged everybody in the building to work like him. And trust me, Diddy is one of those people with the tenacity where you can't tell him no. I was at a standpoint where I couldn't have nobody telling me no. So I needed to know any and everything possible. And in time, it may have seemed aggravating or irritating to certain people because they're like, well, damn, I'm teaching you all of this while I'm trying to learn it. A lot of what everybody does is off their stock, right? Everybody has a stock. You know, what you bring to the table.
Yeah, what's your value?
I do all. You get what I'm saying? I can paint, I can frame, I can do electrical work, I can do plumbing, I can do flooring. You get what I'm saying? I can pretty much build a damn house if I wanted to. And I could feed the lines from the city all the way to your building. And this is residential and commercial. So in reality, what is it that you're telling me I can't do? It's not that you don't, it's not that I can't do it, it's that you don't want to do it.
And the thing too, like I was having this conversation
A lot of conversations like that.
I like that.
I was having a conversation with my homeboy earlier. Like one of the most beautiful things about, like when you get to the stage, I don't know if you're to the stage yet. I'm pretty, like from what I know, you do great work. But when you get to that level where you can tell people no, there's so much power in it. When somebody wants you to do some shit, like nigga, I'm not doing that. Like no, because I don't need that money. I'm not a slave to where I'm like. It was one thing when you in the beginning stages, and it's like you taking everything. It's like, man, I need to get this, blah blah blah. But then it's like when somebody's trying to ask you to do something like absurd thing, it's like, bro, that's not worth it. I'm cool.
In reality, I'm probably one of the most humble people when it comes to, you know, things that I can do. Like I can talk it. I know that I can do it, so I don't need to brag. Right? The word kind of just presents itself. But in reality, you look at everything you accomplished, and you just kind of like, wow, you're mind blown by your own work and the fact that you can say no, you know, to certain people and be like, hey, I ain't gonna be able to take care of it. You come from a point, you know you there when you come from a point where you need the work. To the point where you have to schedule work.
That part right there.
You get what I'm saying?
When there's an abundance.
When you come from needing the work and asking somebody to put you on schedule.
Right.
To telling somebody else, hey, I gotta put you on schedule for like a week out.
Yeah.
I had somebody call me today, right? I'm in this group called BRC. It's Black Riverside, California.
I'm in that one too.
My cousin was telling me to
I don't even post it up in there, but I'm in there.
The founder, Simmons, Sigmund, the founder called me today. This dude got a ton of connections.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he was calling me for a D. He was calling me so he can make some money with me.
There you go.
He was calling me so he can make some money with me. Hey, I'll find the jobs for you for a fee.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you want to provide leads, is what she said.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel you. You know what I mean?
You get your little coin, but my name gonna be louder.
I might shoot you a little bit of coin, but if it ain't growing, then I'm gonna have to cut you loose. And specifically because I'm gonna probably be able to do that myself.
Yeah.
If he try to get you in a contract, don't do nothing long term.
No sir.
Yeah.
No sir. No long term. No long term contractual agreements.
Yeah.
Just specifically because I don't want to have to go through, you know,
The
court
BS.
and
Because
all that
see,
bullshit.
the problem, the thing is, what you have to understand is, as flattering as it is, right?
Absolutely.
Some people look at this
They're gonna finagle.
as, no, that's what I'm saying. Some people look at this as, how can I come up off of this young man? Because he may not know better. So he sees your talent, he sees your work ethic, because like I said, you know that I work early mornings.
Yeah.
So when I reposted that last night, that was in the midst of turning over. I turned over, checked the phone,
Yeah.
and I was like,
That's why you said I'm not asleep, I'm woke. You was really asleep.
I was asleep. But that woke me up out of my sleep. Because I was like, it was beautiful.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So, you know, my goal is to get a home in a couple years.
Right.
Right? I already know you are going to do all of what I
You know,
need.
a lot of my friends say
At
that
my
too.
house.
A lot of my friends say that, like, oh yeah, man.
The quality is there.
But you know, he wanted, you know, and this is not to knock the guy. You know, he wanted to help and he wanted to get on board, but he was even offering getting in the field and putting some work in himself. All in all,
I respect that.
I can respect that. You know what I'm saying? When somebody is actually,
That's somebody trying to show you that I'm not playing.
But you know what that tells me? That tells me that, oh, I'm really on the right track.
Your product
My product is it.
Yeah.
My product sells.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When you got people calling you who obviously really don't need to, and they hitting you up, you know, and they're saying, hey, come to this mixer, this business mixer, you know, pass your cards out, show your face, blah, blah, blah. Come do this, come do that.
What I tell you last night?
Yeah.
Those are facts. We ain't even got to go into
It's
that.
top tier, dog.
You understand what I'm saying? I'm talking about what I said after that.
Oh, yeah.
Because that right there, that's some, what was the nigga from Home Improvement?
Tim Allen.
Said this nigga Tim Allen. This nigga got that Tim Allen work. You feel me? Yeah, but no, man, it's a beautiful thing. We went super long because this was a genuine conversation with two people.
We're gonna have to do part 2.
We're most definitely.
We still have so much more.
I know.
Because entrepreneurship is so many different umbrellas.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, you know, maybe the next episode we can get into, you know, the finance that it takes to really start a business.
I'm with all of that.
Because I feel like the financial part is one of the biggest fears for people.
Yeah.
But I mean, in reality, people don't know that it really takes
without even
under $300.
Start where you
But
at.
without us even getting into it, because that was a conversation you was having.
It takes like under $300 to start.
But remember that conversation you was
Start
having
where you
on
at.
Facebook. I was ear hustling when you were talking about starting a business. Somebody told you.
Yeah. Somebody told me.
And we're gonna leave it at that. We're gonna leave it at that. We're gonna get into it because you was having this conversation
I was.
and now you're the advocate.
And now I'm the advocate for the same topic that we had. You know, I like to have the open discussions just to see where everybody's mind frame is, to see how people feel about the things that you talk about. It ain't all gotta be ignorant shit.
No,
you know what I mean?
we can
You
talk
can
about
talk
that
about
all
some
day.
real shit.
Yeah.
But in reality, you get that information not just from experience, but
Yeah.
you know, you can take bits and pieces from people that you know.
That's what I do. I'm taking bits and pieces from both of you guys. Like I said, put it on the record.
Hey, congratulations on your degree, man.
Thank you.
I never got to really like.
Thank you. It was,
and that was a long haul. You taking a break, or are you going for the doctorate?
Woo! and listen, if I do go for the doctrine, it's no time soon.
Right.
And just from the knowledge that I gained, it has to be at a black university.
I love you for that. I like that. You know, that's one of my biggest. That was one of my biggest dreams to graduate from black.
Well, just because we live
HBC.
in, we live in Southern California, and
And
we're a little bit different out here. So the big names is what you go for, right? And it was a blessing even being able to get into Purdue University.
Facts.
So that was a big deal for me.
Like Indy, right?
Right, yeah.
Shout out to
That
Indy.
was a big deal for me.
Yeah.
But the more that I've been reading and I read, if y'all want to read a book, The Miseducation of a Negro.
It's a good book.
It's a really good
I've
book.
read that book. I had to read that book for master.
You know what book I'm about to read? I forget the word, the actual title, but "Eating to Live" by
Okay, I heard that's a good one. That's on one of Nipsey Hussle's
I heard
lists.
it.
I'm making some changes.
Yeah. Yeah.
People that know about my
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah.
But like I'm making like,
Yeah.
changes in my diet.
No, but the gut health is
Man.
important. They were talking about
God.
that on the news the other night.
It's
But
super important.
the point that I'm making is the miseducation of a Negro. It was about the educated Negro. It was not about the
It's
Negro
not about
who
the-
was uneducated.
The stupid one, right?
It's about the one who was educated.
Mhm.
And as I read it, I said, wow, this whole time it tells you to go and find your heroes. Not the European heroes that they teach
Right.
you. Your heroes, the
Yeah.
Mensa Musas, those type of people.
Mhm.
And in the midst of reading that, I said, if I go back to school,
It gotta be an HBCU.
it's got to be an HBCU.
It gotta be.
Okay.
It like literally has to be.
It has to be.
On that note, I think this is where we're going to cut it at.
Yeah.
This was a great episode. I hope y'all enjoyed this episode.
Yeah.
Y'all can follow Nate at where they can follow
You can follow me at QA Remodeling LLC on Instagram.
Okay, then make sure
Okay.
you go follow the page DSTM Podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Tap in for all the updates. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share.
Yeah.
And until the next time is don't shoot the messenger.
Bang, 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 bang.
Shut you down.
Bang, bang. Yeah, that's solid, man.
Yeah, we got.